right, $10,000 in your pocket.
Very nice. And the next day, the news comes out that the Royal Mail has found 1 million more of these stamps, as you knew it would, and it will sell them to raise money because Lord knows post offices need help these days. Obviously, the penny black stamps are a lot less rare than they were, therefore a lot less valuable. In fact, you can buy one now for just $5,000. So you do that, you give the stamp back to your friend, and you pocket the 5k that you got left.
And that's exactly what Hindenburg did with the Adani Group shares. And it was absolutely transparent about it. In its report, it said Adani was a massive con, and by the way, we intend to profit from telling you this.
Yeah, which they presumably have done. Shares in Adani Enterprises, the flagship company of the group, fell 55% after the report came out. In fact, trading in shares of 5 listed Adani firms was suspended, not once, but twice, because they were falling so far, so fast.
And Mr. Adani himself will have to pay back more than $1 billion worth of loans because the collateral, shares in several Adani companies, have collapsed.
So clearly Mr. Adani's in trouble. But what about India? The country competes fiercely with other emerging nations like Vietnam for foreign investment dollars, which means that it's under constant pressure to show that it's a safe place to invest. Shrupa Gupta is a professor of political science and international affairs at the University of Mary Washington.
This is the last thing India needed. If you are looking for foreign investment, then you also want to signal that the policy framework in the country is strong.
The Adani meltdown has done just the opposite. Now, allegations about dodgy business practices have swirled around the Adani Group for years. Many have pointed the finger at Adani's close ties to the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, which means that much of the Hindenburg report is already known.
But the report has collated and packaged these allegations, along with a few more, in a way that's thrown a fresh spotlight on several areas that always concern foreign investors. Sweetheart dealing, opaque accounting practices, cronyism, and perhaps most importantly, problems with transparency.
There is a lack of transparency. International institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and others all say that there's need for more transparency. There are lots of problems in the financial sector. For example, Indian public sector banks seem to be overexposed to some of the risks by having lent to these corporate entities.
Seem to be overexposed, but who can say? The Adani Group is so opaque that it was actually difficult for Hindenburg to get the kind of insight that it would have had Adani been an American corporation.
Mr. Adani said he was going to sue Hindenburg, and Hindenburg said that yes, please do so and sue us in American courts so that we can force you to open up your balance sheets and your books.
Please sue us so that we can get the same view on you that we would get on, say, Apple.
Yeah, no, that's a sharp response. But while Shrupa acknowledges that Indian companies may be less transparent than US or European equivalents, she said that the Indian government has been working to change things.
Yeah, banks have been consolidated, regulators have been created and empowered. As for the concerns raised by the Hindenburg report about accounting practices and corporate governance,
I don't think this reflects on how all Indian companies are run, because I think there are a number of companies that are run fairly well and that have done well internationally, and they have good management, and I don't know that I would say that this is an indication of an endemic problem in Indian corporate sector as a whole.
it's still not clear how the Adani Group's problems might ripple through the Indian economy. The companies it owns are already deep in debt, and it will now be difficult for them to borrow the money that they need to grow more. But there are many other conglomerates in India, like the Tata Group or Reliance Industries, that are generally trusted by foreign investors and could step in.
As for the financial system, the Reserve Bank of India announced that none of the nation's banks are overexposed to Adani.